Welcome to a Gobbet Opus number 12. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lice. From September 18th, 2008. Last year, my youngest's class had a head lice outbreak. Snicker all you want, it will happen to you. And when it does, I hope you have a boy rather than a girl, because it is so much easier to shave a boy's head, and so much simpler than using red to eradicate the wee beasties. With resistance increasing to the more commonly used anti-head lice medications, it is nice that an enterprising pediatrician has figured out that hot air blown onto the head is a good way to kill off lice better than medications. You just blow the hot air into a shower cap. It's better to cook them than to poison them. Given that the presidential debates are about to occur, I expect no end of hot air in the short term, so the incidence of lice may transiently decrease across the United States, especially in those states with many electoral votes. Head lice are common in all people, in all ages, in all socioeconomic groups, now and for all time. People think lice are associated with being poor, but a recent meta-analysis of lice prevalence suggests that being female, perhaps because of more hair, and crowding are more important factors than poverty. Depending on the population studied, prevalence rates in various parts of the world vary from 0.4% to 65%. Pardon me for a moment whilst I scratch my head. Lice, while freaking everyone out, are a good vector for both typhus and relapsing fever, interesting but rare diseases in the United States. It is interesting how much the body resembles a forest or other ecological system. There are a variety of streptococci in the mouth, and they each prefer to live in one distinct area of the mouth. One strep prefers the tongue, another the teeth, another the back of the throat, and so on. Each part of the body is an isolated Galapagodian, from Galapagos, I just made that word up, island where one organism or another has evolved to occupy its own niche. The same with lice. In the lab, you cannot tell the difference between a head louse, Pediculus humanus capitis, and the body louse, Pediculus humanus humanus. Head lice and body lice can be forced to breed in the lab in some odd parasitical version of the menagerie. They have evolved different survival strategies to survive, as head lice, for example, lay their eggs and stick them to hair, while the body louse lays its eggs in clothes. Louse classification becomes even more complicated. Mitochondrial DNA studies have shown that there are 3 distinct clade phylotypes of P. humanus found amongst modern humans. The most common phylotype is found among both head and body lice, type A, which are also compulsive in pre-med, and is worldwide in distribution. The second group, type B, occurs only in head lice and has been found in the New World, Europe, and Australia. And the third type, type C, is only found amongst head lice from Ethiopia and Nepal. And that's not even mentioning the issue of pubic lice, which are more similar to the gorilla pubic louse. And I do not even want to go there. I would hate to be the one responsible for collecting those lice for analysis. Given that the lice are as common on humans as fleas on a dog, looking at the evolution of lice can lead to interesting observations about the evolution of humans and the dissemination of humans across the planet. Lice evolution has helped define when humans and chimpanzees split, our respective lives split with us, and have helped date the out-of-Africa migration. And since the body lice lays its eggs in clothes, they have estimated, based on louse evolution, or should that be lice evolution, that humans probably began wearing clothes about 100,000 to 72,000 years ago. Concert t-shirts evidently followed later. And most recently, it was mummies. Peruvian mummies, to be exact. 1,000-year-old Peruvian mummies with mummified head lice. They collected these 1,000-year-old head lice, isolated and typed their DNA, and they found by DNA analysis that all the head lice in Peru were type A. And it was the oldest louse DNA ever analyzed. That is, until they analyzed Donald Rumsfeld's DNA. Since these lice predated Europeans, it is concluded that type A lice spread across the world with human migration and were not brought over with Columbus. Quote, the most likely theory is that phylotype A issued from Africa, was distributed worldwide. Phylotype B may have survived and developed only in North and Central America before Columbus and is now spreading in the world, carried back by Europeans returning from Americas. Type C is contained to the highly mountainous countries of the Old World. In any case, the present work shows that there are several phylotypes of lice with geographical restrictions, and that this was true before the arrival of Columbus in the Americas. End quote. This is nifty. Lice are more than a pain in the cranium and a source of low-level hysteria for parents of young children. They help us understand our evolution and our wanderings over the planet. Like so much of infectious diseases, little things, even our vermin, have broader complications in understanding our past as well as why we get sick. And my head still itches. The references of note: hot air may be an effective non-chemical treatment of head lice from Pediatrics 2006, Molecular Evolution of Pediculus humanus and the Origin of Clothing, Current Biology Volume 16, Worldwide Prevalence of Head Lice, Emerging Infectious Diseases, September 2008, and Molecular Identification of Lice from Pre-Columbian Mummies, the Journal of Infectious Diseases, 2009. And as we fade off into the theme music, don't forget, write me a glowing review on iTunes and hit it! My son, he doesn't have head lice anymore.